podcast for your soul, your compass, your journey, your light.
Hello, this is Podcast for Your Soul, and I'm your host, Nico Balschuweit. This podcast is for light workers who are interested to listen and get inspired by listening to spiritual teachers from around the world. And I'm delighted to have Dewi Ratna Jewel today as a guest. And Dewi is a dancing, healing artist. She's a lover of life and an explorer of sound, movement, and consciousness. She inspires to spread the message of beauty, love, and compassion through visual arts, to the art of dance and sound in connection with Mother Nature and the animal kingdom. And Devi helps people to find or remember their way home, and she helps them to connect with the feminine, with the nature, and rediscovering a way to thrive and to live in joy. So Devi, I'm delighted to have you on my show. Thank you for joining. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Nico. Very nice. Lovely.
I'm so looking forward to this. So Devi, you just returned from a longer trip from Hawaii, and I saw you were sharing different beautiful things while you were in Hawaii with the nature and whales and dolphins. Can you share a little bit about what is Hawaii doing for you and what is you there?
Yeah, Hawaii has always been calling me. I went there the first time 10 years ago when I was pregnant, and I had a very strong calling when I had this baby in my belly to swim with the dolphins there. And so I listened to that voice and I went. I was 5 months pregnant, and I spent 3 weeks on Big Island, and I swam with the dolphins there almost every day, and it was just so deeply touching and life-changing to be able to connect with the baby and the dolphins that were really in tune, basically with me being pregnant. I could really feel that they just knew, that there was another being there. And I had this one moment where one dolphin came very close to me and he looked into my eyes, and very slow, he was like really next to me swimming. And I just, in that moment, I just knew that he was really transmitting an energy, and it was just so deeply touching, and just, I couldn't say anything anymore. That was just, and a big smile on my face. And so I never ever forget that moment. And I really felt that I wanted to stay there, actually. I wanted to give birth there. But Noah, my daughter, she's now 10, she also has chosen a father, which he has a little bit of a different kind of way of seeing things. And he said, no, you have to come back to the Netherlands, and we're going to do the birth here. And so I did. I went back, but ever since I felt that I needed to go back again. So now, 10 years later, I went back and to the same island, Big Island. And again, I felt the moment that I was going on the airplane and I was landing there, I could feel again that my spirit just feels so at home there. And in those time that I spent, I think I was there now in the last 2 months, and I have had so much clarity in what has happened ever since I got my child in these last 10 years, and the whole quest basically that I have gone through. So what for me, the Hawaii, when you are there, it brings you in a deep meditation, and a deep connection with nature. You know, nature is so overwhelmingly present there, everywhere. And yeah, it's almost hard not to connect basically to nature, you know. It's really, yeah, yeah, it's just, you know, it's really beyond any words basically. Yeah.
I can sense that, and I can totally relate to that, because I was also 10 years ago, I think,
Oh,
on
wow.
Big Island with Thomas Young. It's a friend and a mentor, and he had a workshop which called the Dream Time in Paradise. And then we went to, I think it was a small, three steps, it was called. And
Oh, yes. Yeah.
and we went there, and he said, with a group, we go swim, and if we are lucky, there are dolphins. And so, and as you said, Hawaii is just beautiful just to be there, and it's nourishing for your soul, and so you're open, and the people are so relaxed and joyful and loose.
Yeah.
So then we went into the water, and literally I was 2 minutes in the water, and then I saw a dolphin, and they were like spinner dolphins. They were so playful. They just jumped around us, and then initially when they approached me, I was a bit afraid. I said, oh, maybe they hit me, but of course they don't. They play with you.
Yeah.
And what happened then when I come back and went out of the water, something has changed. There was such an innate feeling of like an intrinsic joy.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, apparently there is a way they communicate in a frequency just in their presence, which is there's a shift in you.
Yeah.
But it was not like for me, it was for everyone, the whole group. We were just smiling and sparkling, and it was so beautiful. I mean, I cannot imagine how this is when you're in the water and you're pregnant, and then you have this connection, and you feel that they feel and know you're carrying a child within. It's just like a sacred moment.
Yeah, it is. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Devi, I think one amazing gift which you bring and which you have is just that you are so sensitive to nature, to feeling, to sound, to animals. And I saw before you had let's say a breakthrough moment where you went a certain time in a total dark environment. Can you tell us a bit more? What was it, and how did it change you?
Yeah, that was a real one of the most life-changing moments in my life. I have felt for a long time that I needed to spend time in a dark room, and I have heard about that through my Tibetan teacher at the time. It's part of the Dzogchen tradition, in the Buddhist tradition. And but my Tibetan teacher actually told me that I needed to wait a little bit to be able to go into darkness for a longer period of time. So I prepared myself. Whatever things that I still needed to clear out, that was important for me to go in. I did, and then I think it was last year in 2018 June. I felt I was ready, so I did 2 months before I did a fasting. So I went into even to the point that I had a 3-day of dry fasting, so no food and no water. And before that, I was already eating just 1 meal a day, and very light, and then only juices as well. So that already changed a lot. I really felt like my mind became very clear. Everything felt very clear, and I just knew that that was the moment to go into darkness, into a dark room experience. And so I looked on different places. You can do that in different places in Europe, but I chose to do it in Mexico. It was also because I could hear the ocean there, which was very beautiful. So it was kind of in the beginning kind of challenging because I had this kind of claustrophobic kind of feeling in the beginning because, you know, you are in a small room, it's completely dark, you don't see anything. I got once a day, I got food, which is basically given through a kind of like a hole, and they put the food in there and then I can take it. And so what happened actually immediately when the lights went out, I went into meditation and I felt, for a moment, I felt the fear. And then very fast after that, I could feel the ease of, I just felt like I was just surrounded by Mother Earth. And I really felt like I was in the womb of Mother Earth. And then I felt the dolphins even there. And it was really joyful. I felt like, yes, this is exactly where I need to be. And from then on, I was completely open and I surrendered and I said, whatever that I need to do here, I'm open. And I got a lot of information about what I need to do here, what my mission is. And the dolphins were really like working on me, and I've seen many visions of that they were just pouring their light through me. It was just incredible. It was just, I really felt like I was in another dimension, basically. Even to the point that after 3 days, I even could see lights. You know, I could see white light, red lights, blue lights. I could see how you say those forms, those divine geometric forms, and I could hear sounds, divine sounds, and I had a lot of inspiration. You know, it was just, you know, imagination was completely opened, creativity was flowing, and that's where I got the vision of the golden Naya, which means the spirit of freedom. And the golden Naya has been before in my life, and I've been connected with the golden Naya. Naya means in Hawaii dolphin, so the golden dolphin. And I read about the legend of the golden dolphin. It's a beautiful poem that someone has written. And ever since, I always felt connected with that type of energy. And it's basically the spirit of freedom. It's the Christ consciousness, basically. So again, I felt that energy pouring through me. And even to the end of the 11 days in the dark room, the golden dolphin came and sat inside my heart. And I just knew that that was something that I came here to embody. The spirit of freedom is something that I came here to embody. And so from then on, I just knew that was so clear for me. That moment was so clear for me that the mission, that the reason why I came here was never ever so clear. And so from then on, I was completely focused, and I started to read, to write everything down in the dark. Can you imagine? I wasn't able to read it afterwards. But you know, everything was inside, so it came, you know, once I came out, I just rewrite it again, basically. Yeah.
Oh, what an amazing experience.
Yeah.
So I would like to understand more about this, and also for the listeners that they understand, because there were so many things which you did in preparation. So you said before you did not only a fasting, but a dry fasting. So for 3 days, no water. Isn't that I thought that the body dehydrates very fast, like already after a day. So is that somehow dangerous, or how come that you did it? Did you have some guidance, or?
I think I was my own guidance. I really felt so clear, and my body intuition was so clear that I was ready to take that on. I didn't know actually how many days I was going to do it. I just felt, I woke up in the morning and I just felt I didn't need to eat, and didn't need to drink. I was so clear about that the human body is able to go without any food or drink. Of course, I'm not saying that this is for everybody. Just really, you feel when you can, you are ready for that and you can take that. And so I said, okay, I said yes, I said yes to that, and not knowing how long that was going to be. After 3 days, I was losing quite a lot of weight. And then I said, okay, I think it would be good for me. And I actually felt like to start with drinking some juice. So I started slowly going back to taking in, juices and water, and but very, very slow. Yeah. And I didn't feel like eating, really. So, yeah.
You said also that your mentor told you need some time before you can go there, and then you did some preparation. That means you let go of certain things. Was there any, what was the process or which enabled you to say, okay, if I do this, besides from the fasting, then I know I'm ready?
Mm-hmm. It was just really like an emotional kind of clearing. And the ways that I use for myself is the healing methods that I use for myself is light language, sound, and dance. So every time that I just felt something that wanted to be released outside of my system, I used these methods. Going into stillness and connecting with nature, and not much distraction around, basically. And from there, automatically, I started to just use light language, or language that just, it's basically light language is just an expression of your divine self, and it comes out in sound or into movement. So yeah, I guess that is really something that I went in very deeply, and also the connection with nature. So I really surrounded myself for a longer time. I went to Greece for 1 year. I spent completely immersed into nature, and yeah, that was just my way of clearing what I needed to do in preparation for that. Yeah.
And then, so you went to Mexico, and it's like it sounds to me like a prison, right? In a dark place.
Yeah, it is.
And like, it's difficult to imagine that people do that on a voluntary basis.
Yeah.
So, and was it that you know before that you would stay for 11 days, or is that something you choose? Can you stop it at any time, or what's the...
Yes. Actually, I said I wanted to go in for 21 days. And so I said to the supporter, basically, that is giving me also the food every day, I told her that I wanted to stay in for 21 days. But I said, if I want to come out earlier, then I am able to. And she said, yes, of course, you can, open the door yourself, and you can choose yourself when you stop. So actually, after 11 days, I really felt that what I needed to do there was completed. It was such a clear it was really clear the dolphins just appeared, and there was this vision of that they just brought me to the surface. They worked on me basically, and they brought me to the surface, and they said, now you are ready. That was really the words of now you are ready. And I just knew that that was the completion of my time in the darkroom. So I said, okay, I could have stayed in longer. I didn't mind at all. I was really enjoying it, actually.
You mentioned something in the beginning where you said you went in there, felt it was good, and then you surrendered. And I think this is like an amazing female capacity, right? Just really to surrender, and then allow everything to happen, which is it divine sound, light, dolphins, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture that how this would be, and an experience like this. So what I do have is I love to meditate in the dark, but not maybe for a few hours. Yeah, and also there's something in me. If I do this with someone else together, I can sense their aura in such a different way, in such a clarity in darkness, which is very helpful to get in touch with someone or to work on something. I used to do that. And also, actually, the last podcast, we had a guest here, Nicola Farmer, and she teaches children to read blindfolded. I have still I have blindfolds, very thick ones, which they're dark, and I love to wear them, Petra as well, when we meditate, that the sensory but just for 11 days, and then with the food, and obviously you had your preparation. What to me is most amazing, that the process for you looks like it was bliss. Right?
Yeah, it was.
You're so shining. You relive this. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It really, what it does, the darkness, is it activates your pineal gland. And so how they call this hormone called DMT. DMT is also activated, right, in extended times of darkness. So longer, I think after 3 days, it starts to really be activated. And so this is completely open, basically, third eye open, and you can see, yeah. And it is really bliss. Yeah.
And also what you said was the purification of the body with the food.
Yes. Yes.
I realized this. I have more and more issues. I'm so less tolerant for any kind of food that sometimes I don't know what to eat anymore, almost. Right? And when I was younger, like 20 years ago, I could eat whatever I want, and I was fine. But now it's just, And we try to take care very good of our nutrition. At least when I'm at home, when I'm traveling, it's different. But I also, and I see this more even in Petra, she's very disciplined the way she takes nutrition and she prepares it. Her shift also in her visions and everything, and clarity, just by the change of nutrition. I think that's also very important. Also, maybe an inspiration for the listeners, just to try. And I think maybe it inspired me also. Maybe I eat too much. Maybe I don't need so much food. Maybe I'm too attached to food.
Yeah. But I only actually eat one meal a day still. And I really felt like after those 3 days of dry fasting, I broke through something in myself. Like I feel like more like I choose to eat because I still enjoy the foods of the earth, but not so much because I really need or crave, or really my body is so asking for it. I don't feel that is the case anymore. Also the feeling of hunger I don't experience. So in moments when I just feel like, oh, I just like to have a piece of chocolate, really like a good chocolate. I mean, like the the high cacao chocolate, and I really can enjoy that. So it's yeah, food has become completely different for me now. Yeah, yeah.
And there's nutrition on different levels. So that's the food, but also if you don't have nutrition for the mind, because I think it's so difficult nowadays with all the technology, yeah, the TV and newspapers and so on. We are so distracted and we get away and away from our core essence. And basically with your zero diet in the dark room, you're just with yourself.
Yes.
Imagine that does something, but I thought it would take several days to overcome the fear and the thoughts which are coming. That's my idea,
Yeah.
I meditate longer. I love to meditate very long. If I have the opportunity, I can do it for hours. And then there is this point where, yeah, I'm just present, and then the joy comes, and then I also see things. And I do this for a longer time. But when I just picture myself to go into darkness, I wonder what will happen in the mind in the first days. That was so amazing to hear this, that you said you just sit down and you knew that's the right thing and you enjoyed it.
Yes, yeah, there was not much mind. There was just a moment in the beginning, and then it just dissipated, basically. Yeah.
And that explains also why I see you're so connected to nature when you share something on Facebook or on your blog and YouTube. And of course, I will put every link how to connect with you. We talk about another website a bit later, but also on Facebook, on YouTube, that people also can view that, see you in action. But,
Yes.
it's just when I see something, and sometimes you didn't say a lot, you just were showing the nature of yourself, and your silence was speaking so loud. And you helped me just by taking a look at my phone. I was in a different dimension for that moment where I just observed you. So that's the way you share in the form of visual art or presence. It's just an forgive. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I think the experience with the darkroom, just your visions that helped you also, that you are so in tune with nature and with the animals. That's special. Also to see you, how touched you are, or how do you say this? How you embrace or honor Mother Nature. It's a different form. Yeah.
Yeah, my appreciation for nature just grows and grows. It's really like, I really feel like it's almost like a relationship. And the more that I spend time in nature, the more that I feel that connection growing and the appreciation and awe for everything. Yeah, and the spirit and just Mother Earth and all these beings that are just alive, all around you. It's just, it amplifies more and more, and that's how I feel like, I just want everybody to feel that connection again, because that helps us also to reconnect with our own nature. That's how I perceive it, how I experience it in this life. Yeah.
So what would you recommend to someone that say is living in the city, has their day jobs? And so what steps can they do to connect more to nature, or to go a little bit on the paths which we mentioned initially, that people remember their way home, so to speak?
Yeah. And it's everybody is in their own path, and I don't think everybody is shedding their skins in their own time. So there's nothing really that we can force. And if someone is choosing the experience of living in a city and whatever that they need to do there, that's what they need to have an experience of. And I'm not here to say that these people need to do otherwise. If they feel it within themselves that they need more nature, as I at some point also felt like when I was living in the city, I just felt like I couldn't do it anymore. So there was a clear no within myself saying no to living in the city. And yes, I want to create a life in nature. It was so clear within myself that I just chose that. So if someone is still feeling like they need to have an experience in the city, but still there is a voice within themselves that they do want to connect more with their own nature and with nature, perhaps. Well, I guess, do it as much as you can, basically. And for me, the ideal would be that people create a different lifestyle, a lifestyle really close into nature. But for that, I think it's for everybody in their own way, in their own timing. And yeah, there's no good or bad in that either. It's just what the soul. I guess what I feel within myself is the moment that I listen to my soul longing and soul desire, it just immediately brought me back to nature. It says, no more city, no more noises, no more distractions. Now completely immerse yourself in nature. And even now, I travel quite a lot, and it is much easier for me to be in places where it is noisy. Because I'm through being so deeply connected with nature and my own nature, I feel more stable and more strong within myself. So whenever I go, into places where there's all kinds of things going on, to the airport and airplanes and this and that, I feel it's okay. I feel a lot. Actually, I feel more and more compassion for everything around me. Yeah.
So then you were into this dark room, and then you had the vision of the golden dolphin or the golden Naya. And you created a foundation. Explain us all about this.
Yeah. So the vision came, and I just didn't know. I said, okay, what is it about? What? And then I heard the dolphin say that, the oceans and all the cetaceans, basically all the beings in the ocean, they need to have a voice. We need to show people that we really need to clean the oceans, basically, because they are so polluted. And more people are now, coming out and doing work around that. But I felt also that was not the only thing. It was not only about cleaning the oceans, but also cleaning ourselves. That goes hand in hand, basically. And so I started to create a platform online, and sharing with people basically what we can do to reconnect with ourselves and clear our own path, and how we can connect deeper with the oceans and with the cetaceans, with the dolphins and whales. And for that, I started to have the idea to start dolphin spirit journeys, whale spirit journeys. But then I felt that was not my, the facilitation of those journeys was not for me to do. So now I'm basically creating the platform for people that I know that are creating these journeys already. And so that people, when they go to the foundation, they can see different types of retreats or journeys, or however you want to call it. And then they can basically choose, there are different in Hawaii, in Panama, in Bimini, in New Zealand, in Polynesia. There are so many different areas where we can experience a life in the oceans and with the dolphins and whales. But that is something that I still need to set up. So now it's there. The first footprint is there, but now I'm going to create a platform for that, and so that people can see, all the retreats, all the journeys with the dolphins and the whales. Yeah.
What a fantastic opportunity, and I think listeners are also grateful to be at the beginning of this pioneer work. Yeah. So I think there are many people, they have a calling to join or to do a retreat themselves, and I will share the link, of course. And the way they work, are they a little bit similar, or is it all different? Is it like that you try to swim with dolphins? Obviously, I guess you don't swim with whales, or are you just in a boat? Or
yeah, there's also swimming with whales, actually.
Oh wow!
Yes, that's also an opportunity in the island of Moorea, which is the island near Tahiti, the Polynesian islands, where it's allowed to swim with the whales. Yes, yeah. But most of them, they're similar. There are kind of little differences here and there, but usually it's on the boat, going out and just connect basically with ourselves in meditation. And from there, basically, from tuning into ourselves, connecting with the whales and dolphins and the oceans. So yeah. And just receive, basically, because they have so much to give us and guidance when we are open to really hear them. Yeah.
So again, if we are open and receptive, then it's like an animal spirit guide, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And for yourself, so you also create a space where you do this light singing or and dancing.
Yes.
That's how do you share this? Do you invite groups, or do you plan anything to?
Yes, in this moment I actually do only individual sessions for that. Sometimes I do it on Skype, but preferably I actually do it in person, but both is possible. Because when I'm in person, I can create a much more intimate connection with the person itself, and I also use touch. So that's something. It's a really creating a space of deep rest, and we're in deep rest. We can the healing, the self-healing mechanism takes place, basically. So this is I've been doing for 5 years now, so the individual sessions, and so I'm still open for that. For this moment, I don't plan any groups yet. That might change, but yeah. So in this way, and also through my YouTube channel, I share light language, I share the dance, so people can just feel the energy, basically. As you have seen that little video that I posted on Facebook, that was just a very short one, and then I actually create much more refined things on YouTube, where I blend videos and make it really nice for people to feel that energy and the connection with nature also. So yeah, so that's also a way to connect with that energy. Yeah.
And so if I would like to have sessions with you, what is the process? So when, let's say, we do it virtually over Skype, is this over a longer period of time, or can it be one session?
Yeah, it can be one session. It really depends. Usually I feel when I tune into the soul of the other being, I already feel like it's all one, or it's going to be more. And then usually what I do is just really tune into the soul, and then whatever comes through me in that moment will just be expressed through, usually in this virtual way. It's usually then I use sound and light language. Yes.
There is this connection we share. I think 12 years ago I created also a site which is called Silent Healing, where I realized I gave coaching sessions and heart IQ, as you know, and then all of a sudden something happened where I was with one lady and we didn't do anything. It was just silent, and there was so much happening in the silence that I started to do this more. And actually, I did it for several years that I invited people for a session where the majority of the session was silence, and then something came up, and I basically just was holding space. But so wonderful time to do nothing and allow so much to happen. And I also think that the rest is so important. People rest, that there's so much stress is going away, and then they gain clarity of what they achieve.
Yeah, I guess that's also what the darkroom does. You know, it really you don't have any external stimulation. It's completely, you know, you don't see anything. Your eyes rest. Everything rests. You know, it's deeply rejuvenating for the body, for the mind. It's really a place of deep rest. And it can be challenging as well for some people if you're not used to being in this kind of deep silence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see this also. I work on area of culture and leadership and business, and it's so different. I mean, the people are getting more and more open. I think we are in the phase of evolution where we have more awareness of spirituality or rest, silence, and call it work-life balance. And there are so many people they can share and they appreciate this, but there are others, very successful people, they are stressed. If you're with them and you invite them to be silent for some time or not to do anything, it's difficult.
Yes.
And then we need to see it's different for every person.
Yeah, that's why it's. I always allow everybody just to do it in their own time. People that also come to me, I know that they are kind of ready for this to be in that space. Yeah.
That's what happens also in that silence, in your silence. There is just a gravity, something, and people are attracted. It's the same. I mean, I saw you for 1 minute, and I thought, oh, I would love to have a podcast with you. I would love to interview. I would love to learn more about that, because I felt so much, which I think it's a miracle by itself. But that's the radiance which you have if you're so connected to dolphins, Mother Nature. And then it allows other people to feel you. Yeah, and then that is also, maybe that's part of what you said, is you help people to remember to go home. Just because you are rooted in that, and then in your presence. And when you do the singing, do you do this also for other people then? Or let's say, or they're almost like a clearing, or is this just for yourself?
No, it's never for myself only. Yeah, I always feel whatever I do, it's extended to beyond myself. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, is there any recommendations you would give to the listener to when you say they remember their way home? Where you say this is something like spiritual practices or certain elements which would be helpful for everyone, or is it work really it's different for everyone?
I think it's really very individual. Yeah. I always feel like, you know, I can share for myself what I do, and then, you know, somebody else has to find if that resonates with them, if they feel a resonance with that, they can explore with that. But there are so many things out there that we can do, basically, um, and I trust that every individual will find something that feels in resonance. We you know, we just feel like, oh, that really feels good. Let me try that. You know, yeah. I guess there's nothing that is not there's not one way. There's not, you know, as I said, for me, it's really creating a lifestyle completely immersed in nature and be as close as possible to the earth, um, and be just receiving that complete silence and everything that Mother Earth has to give to us, and just allowing that to talk to you, to listen, to be completely surrendered, open to that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Sure you get a lot of requests now when people listen to this, and I want to learn more about work. And we take a look at the website of your foundation. And should the moment Petra listen to this, she says, yes, let's go. We need to go see dolphins.
Yes. Yeah. And also, Nico, did I share it? I don't know if I shared it already, but the golden Naya, that that represents, symbolizes the spirit of freedom. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that's really important. I guess a very important part of the golden Naya, that the spirit of freedom is basically, um, it is actually collectively now very strong, and it's almost like, you know, it's like trying to wake us up and pushing us through our limiting beliefs and going through that, because we are free human beings, and also in that I have been going through so much limitations, and, you know, breaking through barriers and breaking free more and more, um, and that's a process that I feel like can be done when you are really in a situation, in an environment where you can be completely still. So then you can see some patterns or some things that actually are not natural to us. You start to see through them, and that's the moment that you say, oh, no, that's not who I am. I can choose actually something else. And that's the I guess the awakening journey, the journey of completely becoming free and happy human beings, right? Yeah. So that's, and I guess the dolphins and the whales are really inviting us into that frequency, because it is a frequency, right? So yeah, lots to learn still, and it's a beautiful journey.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the two gifts in that. The first is to listen to spirit and to find your calling or life's purpose, and then to see that you can be more free, but then take inspired action.
Yes.
I feel sometimes that I'm in a golden cage.
Mm.
Yeah, we have so much. You have family and business, and then sometimes I think I'm holding myself back because
Mm.
I'm clear. I create the cage myself, and
Yes.
maybe also I love my cage. So,
Yeah.
and but this, as you said, we are in an environment where we are free, like dolphins or in nature. Then drops deeper, and then we can connect with our core essence. Then we find our longing. And in fact, Petra and I, tomorrow we go to the North Sea for a week, like having a digital detox and go on a vision quest for ourselves. And that's every time we do this, something amazing is happening when we connect to nature. For Petra, it is she has to be at the sea. It is
Yeah.
just, when I asked her, she said, "I don't mind, just bring me to the sea." And then we go there together, and yeah, to share this as a couple and have a journey together, where we do some work separately for ourselves, and then we come back together and we share, and then it's easier to do some action because we do it together. And that's, I guess, it's just in our environment, but just to be in a longer time somewhere surrounded by nature and dolphins, whales, it's a frequency shift.
Yeah.
You have to get used also, like almost accommodated to the higher frequency. Then we open up, and then we can listen, and then we realize, oh, the old things I did or I've been, it's not me anymore. I shifted.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
I think it's so fantastic to have people like you who are like a I would say catalyst to have such an experience. Yeah, it's fantastic. Wonderful life purpose.
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for your sharing. I wish you all the best with the Golden Dolphin Foundation, with everything you do, and we stay connected. And I hope to be on a retreat in the future together with you.
That would be lovely, yes.
So thank you, and namaste, and all the best to you. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you.
Podcast for your soul, your compass, your journey, your light.